I recently found a mold for a tea light that looks like a pillow or a cushion. It is just adorable. Stick around, let's do it together. As soon as I came across this mold, my head just started floating, and I thought, I've got so many ideas. So, first off, we're going to do a marble technique. I believe I have 4 ounces of resin, 1-to-1, regular 1-to-1. And first I put some white pigment paste in it. And next I'm gonna also do separate little batches because I'm gonna, again, marble this. So I'm gonna do separate little batches, one in this orange metallic and one in this sort of fuchsia metallic that's just so pretty. And I'm not that experienced at marbling, but I took an online class from a wonderful artist that I follow mostly on Instagram. I think she does have a YouTube page, but her name is Resin Jules, and she does an online class on marbling. So she lives in Wales, and the class that I was in was, like I've said, online, and there were people from all over the world in the class. It was really fun to do. She's so talented, and her technique is amazing. Some of the products that she used are not available in the U.S. So, unfortunately, the resin that she uses, it's by Mold. It's Mould, I believe, and it is available in the UK, but it is not available in the US. And so I did a couple other tests to some other molds using her technique, using some Let's resin, and then I thought, well, I think I need to let it maybe sit around a little bit longer to thicken up some. Unfortunately, I don't know the difference because I didn't actually feel the resin she was using, so I don't know the difference. But I'm gonna try this technique here, and maybe this also, because this is a more horizontal type of mold than something that's gonna fill up hollow, with a more cavernous inside to it. So let's see how it works. So there I'm mixing up my orange pigment paste, and I already mixed up the fuchsia. So we're gonna get to pouring. So I'm going to take another. I also mix up a tiny bit of gold, and this gold, it came in a kit of a bunch of little tiny colors. And this was a while back before I had used things like eye candy and all of these other incredible pigment pastes that kind of have spoiled me. And this little tiny jar, there was another time that I used some of this, and I had to use a tremendous amount to make it actually gold. I would not recommend that kit at all. But it was all I had the day I wanted to pour this. So I had to go for it. And it's the color gold, not a metallic gold. So unfortunately, I had to add a lot in there, and you even hear me kind of moaning about it, that when you read about pigments compared to resin, there's a certain percentage that they tell you not to go over concerning pigment. Like, I think it's a very low percentage, something like 2% or 6%. I don't know. Don't quote me because I'd have to look it up. But it's a very small percentage of pigment to resin. So I didn't know how this was going to turn out. We'll wait and see. So what I'm going to do next is split the white color into the white mix that I have there. I'm going to split it into 2 cups because I'm going to layer the colors. It's not going to be quite like a dirty pour. You're going to see there's a way that you layer the colors in different places in the cup, and you basically pour them down the side of the cup to try and eliminate bubbles as much as possible. And then you put in another layer of the white or whatever's going to be your base color, because your base color can be clear. It doesn't have to be white, or it doesn't have to be black or any other color. This was fun. It was fun, and you know how when you do new things, you're kind of, oh my God, please let this work, because like I said, I tried it 2 other times and both molds were animals. They were like a seal and a whale or something. They weren't a more horizontal type of thing. Now, after I've done this, I'm realizing that maybe I should stick with horizontal until I get a little better at this. Like anything else, marbling is something that you have to practice at. I mean, any of the resin projects that I've done in all these years, they don't, you know, as you've heard just about every single artist, I don't care who they are, from Julie Cutts to Wendy, to Claire, to, you know, to Steve McDonald, to you know, everybody says, now I'm going to get in trouble because I didn't remember all the names of the really people that have been doing this a really long time. But as everybody says, you really, you know, sometimes, and even some artists that I watch now, they say, okay, I'm doing this on my channel today, but this is my first time doing this technique or this mold, or you know, sometimes we can't see in the mold before we do them. One thing that I do know for sure, though, is that this is going to come out, because it's a matte mold, it is not a shiny mold. I know 100% sure, and actually, in all honesty, it's sort of what I'm going for anyway, but I want this to almost look like fabric, because it's going to look like a little pillow or a little cushion. So, you know, doing this, I think, hopefully, it's going to achieve that. So now I'm going to do a little bit of a special little swirl, trying to get these colors to do what it is I'm interested in them doing. And again, before I poured anything, I let this sit around a little while. And now I'm going to choose which side I want to go down first, because I don't think it fills the entire mold. But we're just going to go for it. As Jules says, pour with purpose. And that's what I'm doing. So it looks marbly to me. On the well, what would be the bottom? It's the top of the pour. Looks kind of marbly to me. And look at the inside of the cup. These colors together are just everything. They're so pretty. And here's the demold. Let's see if we got what we were going for. I'm actually going to pour this twice with 2 different techniques. So you'll get to see that. Look, I marbled. Yay! There's probably not as much of the fuchsia as I would like in there, but I sort of learned from doing that pour that maybe I wanted to make that a little more evident when I started out the pour, because just like in everything else resin, the first thing that hits that mold is what you're going to see as the most obvious when it's over with. And that's one thing that I just have to just beat into my mind But I'm trimming off some of the, just the edges that need a little bit of a trim, just with my little clippers, just to clean it up while it's still sort of soft, and, making sure that's not terribly sharp. And we have our little cushion. Very cute. Now, what I then found out was that this is like the teeniest, tiniest. I can't even tell you. This little candle that I have in there, I mean, it's a real candle, but it covers most of the cushion. That didn't make me terribly happy. But I was like, okay, I think I need to move on. And then I'm trying to see if I did that here. Well, I just decided to admire my work for a minute and figure out the candle situation a little bit later, which I do. We're actually going to make tea lights too. So I'm going, look, it feels like fabric. Like, we don't admire our work enough, I don't think. Next, I decided to do another little technique as another candle holder and see how that works out. And so I'm burnishing these gold leaf little chunks into the sides of the, into the mold, the way you do. And I'm just picking these up, randomly putting them in. This particular mix that I have is a bunch of different, there's some gold and some more copper. I think there might be even a little bit of green, different shades in the sort of yellow gold family. And so I just wanted to burnish them in there, and I'm going to do a pigment paste, and I swear to you, this comes out looking like fabric again. I mean, the amount of ideas that you could do with this one little mold that could make gifts for everyone is mind-boggling. And I'm telling you, it had my feeble little brain just soaring with ideas. I'd like to do this next, and then that next, and then try this and try that, and you know how it goes. You're all creative types, so you know how it goes, man. Sometimes you just go a little bit hog wild when, and sometimes you get a mold and just, when it clicks, Use those clicks. I encourage you to use those clicks. So, again, this burnishing of these leaves is so easy. As you know, you can also put the liquid or the gold leaf in resin and mix it up, and it'll, it breaks apart, even if you put big pieces of it in. This is another metallic pigment paste. It's like a green, a dark teal green. Really, really, really pretty color that I absolutely love. And I thought, I want to try this with a little bit of gold. And once again, the thing about pigment paste is that you don't need very much. And I think I'm putting this in about 4 ounces. So you saw the tiny, tiny bit. There was barely any on this stick. And that's the way pigment paste works. It's very, very, very potent with the pigment. And it is made with pigment and either part A or part B of resin. So it's made with resin components. This one I'm pouring way up high and very thin. And the reason you try to do that is because bubbles that you may have, it discourages them from sticking around, because the theory is that by the time it hits the resin, the bubbles are gone. one would hope. I did not get bubbles in either of these projects, so that may be how it worked. I hope. I've just heard from lots and lots and lots of people that have been doing this a long time. So this is our second demolding. And see how shiny it is on the back? And yet when you turn it around, because it's a matte mold, it looks like fabric. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Just gorgeous. You could make a mold for every kind of decor or, decorating theme that people have. It's just really, really something else. So I did, once again, I trimmed off some of the extra just, before it gets hard. And I mean, I don't know that this would have been difficult to deal with, but I guess I was just in a mood to complete things all the way when I did this. And, I like to try and show at least parts of every single step that I take, because I know there are a lot of you on here now who are, very seasoned at doing resin, but there are plenty of people who are beginners. And this project actually would be a beautiful beginner project, because it's a very simple mold to use, as long as you understand it's not going to be shiny. So if you put transparent in it, if you put anything transparent in it, you do that knowing that you're not going to have a completely transparent. It's going to look sort of cloudy under the top. But, if you do that with full knowledge and an understanding of what you're going to get afterwards, then it is pretty simple. It's a nice, easy project that would look like you did so much more, because I'm telling you, these folds and everything, it's so cute. So I did put a little tea light, a one that did not light, and I was like, okay, this can't be over. That just doesn't look good. And you can't use real, or you shouldn't, by the way, do not ever use live open flames with any, in anywhere near where it could touch resin. Resin is really just hardened plastic, and you would never ever burn an open flame in plastic. So please, please promise me that you will never ever burn a candle in your resin candle holder. That being said, I decided I'm going to make little tea lights that fit in there better. So I had these molds, and the one on the left has like a almost striped pattern in it, and the one on the right is plain just shiny mold. So I had some of my iridescent glitter. I believe I used the pink from the Let's Resin opalescent set that they have, and I mixed that in there. And I want to pour it in, and I'm sort of hoping that some of it trickles down the sides. Now, I know that I didn't put anything in it to suspend it or anything, so I know that it is going to remain, it's going to sink, down to the rim of the candle holder, which is fine. I love that. Love the whole idea. So that's going to sink down there, and I already know that. And just because of the way you have to pour it in, it's touching the sides. So if it sticks, that's fine too. I mean, it makes it look a little bit handmade, makes, some of the sparkle from the candle holder, it makes some of it be on the sides, and I don't know, I liked it. I hoped it remained. If it didn't, that was fine too. I didn't really, it wasn't supposed to be sort of the main the main focus of this project, but see how you can see some of it in there, and that's fine. So I said, okay, stay if you want. Stick around if you want. For the other one that's going to go with the green and gold candle holder, I have these. They are a chunky. They're almost like a chunky glitter, but they're not cut in. You know how glitter is cut either in circles or different shapes. This is really chunky, and there are just, it looks like somebody just randomly cut them up, but they're not thin. They're not thin like the gold leaf that I put in so these don't break up the way gold leaf does. And once again, I want this just, it's going to be on the rim. In hindsight, I really think I added too much to this, but it still works. So it's fine. I mean, if I have to have one little dumb thing to complain about, that would be it. But it's a very nitpicky thing to complain about, to me, in my eyes. But anyway, so I once again poured this in, knowing it's going to sink all the way to the it'll be the outer lip of the tea light holder. And fine, if some of it dripped down, I'm fine with that too. It's a very zen way to do it. And again, this one, on the one on the left, it is it's matte, and it has these lines in it like stripes. So I knew that, really the only thing that was going to shine, show up was going to be the gold, and that this would be sort of cloudy. And now, if you notice, I am not pouring it to the very top. I'm pouring it to that inner rim. And that's because that inner rim measures smaller than the circle in the tea light holder, the green base and the orange base. So I intended, if I would have poured it all the way up to the top of this mold, it has a fluted type of base to this little tea light holder. But I wanted it just so that sat there flat like a cup in the base tea light holder. So that's what we did. And everything was still uncured or wet. I did not wait for that rim, those glitter rims. I didn't wait for either of those to cure ahead of time. I did these pours one right after the other. And next we're going to mix the resin for the remainder of this other tea light. And I'm going to try to do something iridescent. I love all things iridescent. I love opals. Opals, they are my birthstone. And I'm going to use this is from Into Resin, and it's a fairy powder. And I love all things that shine different colors and give off different colors and different light. So I decided to go with this, and it's spoiler alert, I am thrilled with the way this came out. I think it's the first time I ever used this powder, and I can't look at it, look at the sparkle and shine. So pretty. So ridiculously pretty. And it mixes up super well. It's super easy to mix and the whole 9 yards. So I didn't have to stir it for 12,000 years. I didn't have to bubble machine it. I didn't have to, nothing came floating to the top. It just did its thing and did it really, really, really well. Yeah. It's very pretty. Pretty. So our little fake candle will fit in there. And this shows off our pillow a little bit better, I think. Pretty. Okie dokie. Oh boy. Oh. Oh, this iridescence is so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. It's ridiculous. It's so pretty. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, man alive. Can you even see this? It's not nearly as... Oh man, this light's making it look sort of orange, but it's not as orange as it looks. Different colors behind it will make it look different. I don't know, but I am some kind of in love with this. Oh, so pretty. And look, you can see the little pillow. Yes, please. There's that glitter. It didn't all go down there, but I love this little trail of glitter. Oh. And see, some of it's a little streaky, but I so don't care. I so don't care. That is right up my alley. I am some kind of in love with this. I really hope that I'm able to take nice photos of it, because that's going to be everything. So stay around for a few seconds for better shots of it with light behind it. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again.